A weed whack attack, jail time for a late book return, and police body cam footage via horse. Hey, I'm Greg Ott, and this is your daily news refresh, where we round up all sorts of weird and interesting news stories each and every day. Before we get going, give us a hot subscribe at the News Refresh to get more of this stuff in your feed. Thanks. So let's begin with fresh video of a guy whacking off on the ground. This is security footage out of Houston from last Friday, where this lawn care man is out doing some landscaping. As this neighbor describes, that's kind of his thing.
He's our grass cutter guy, he cuts our grass.
You can see a car drive by, and a moment later, the landscaper walks into the street because according to police, some people are stealing lawn equipment from his truck. The suspects then start to drive away in two different cars, and the landscaper tosses his weed whacker into one of the cars as it swerves in his direction. From there, a suspect falls out of the red car's open door and lands on the road. And it gets wackier from here as the lawn care guy whacks the whack down on the ground. The suspect gets back up, only to fall on his ass again as another local comes out to help.
Down the floor.
As the dude tries to run off, he again loses his balance as he's chased by our man with the lawn care equipment. The guy who fell on his ass eventually runs off and gets back into the red car, and the two vehicles speed off. Locals, like that neighbor we heard from before, seemed pretty surprised this all went down.
For the amount of time he's been with us, he's never had that happen.
He was trying to protect his property and, in the course of it, did what his instincts told him to do.
Yeah. As observed by that county constable, our landscaper perhaps exhibited the vengeful instincts of the lawnmower man himself. But this entire thing is considered to be a case of violent crime.
But during the commission of this theft, there were some firearms brandished at the complainant, and which ultimately made him back off.
In the comments of the constable's Facebook page, Rachel Fox asked, "Was that dude drunk? He was falling all over the place." AJ Cruz offered up a grisly suggestion. "I would have kept the weed eater on him until he couldn't get up. They got the pick up all the pieces." And Edita Ziegenhagen said something in Polish that was translated to, "Where can I report a scammer?" The guy who fell out of the car and got chased with the weed eater was ultimately arrested and charged with aggravated robbery with a deadly weapon. Cops say they're still looking for the other suspects from this whole thing, and neighbors just want our landscaper here to be able to earn an honest living.
It's hard-earned money, and that's not right. I hope that they get what they deserve.
Be careful what you wish for. That's what this guy wanted too. Crowdfunding platforms are a great way to raise money for all sorts of causes. The Associated Press says GoFundMe campaigns have generated $30 billion since 2010. And there's no shortage of worthy causes on the platform. From helping pigs named after Tina Turner get emergency surgery, to getting Duncan's retirement gift, to aiding a random man Idaho who's asking GoFundMe to help me get a dirt bike. Because they really want a dirt bike, but I don't have enough money, so if you have money to spare, I would appreciate it more than you know. While Random Man Idaho may have raised a cool $20 to date so this YouTuber can get a dirt bike, I'll just take a subscription, thank you. You may get more mileage out of your generosity for causes like this. Mom facing jail time over late library book.
This has definitely been stressful. I mean, I exclusively breastfeed this one, so now I'm having to navigate pumping in case I get arrested.
That's a mother named Kaylee in Texas, who a few weeks ago went to the Texas Department of Public Safety to get her driver's license renewed.
And when I get there, they tell me that they cannot renew my driver's license because I have a warrant out for my arrest. And this was news to me. I haven't been pulled over. I've never been in any sort of legal trouble.
She called around to the courts to find out that, yes, she had an outstanding warrant for the theft of government property.
It's over a library book that I turned in late.
She had some books on Vincent van Gogh that she was using for homeschooling, perhaps on subjects like fine art or basic anatomy. And she says she forgot to return them on their due date while dealing with complications from her pregnancy. Her husband ended up trying to return them a few months later, where plenty of signs warned about a possible 10-cent daily fine.
And I explained all of this to the judge. Like, my husband was working in Houston. We were in Vita. This is about a 30-minute hike to the library. When he was dropping off the book, it was in the morning. and the book did not fit in the return box.
As Kaylee wrote on her GoFundMe, she claims she was issued a warrant that she never received, and someone signed for it, but the judge wouldn't tell her who it was. Nonetheless, as these court documents lay out, fees accrued, a warrant for her arrest was issued, and this cheerful courtesy notice warned her to act now to avoid going to jail. This Navasota City Ordinance notes that people who don't return books within 30 days of their due date will have their library cards suspended, and anyone who intentionally or knowingly defaces, damages, or destroys any library books commits a misdemeanor criminal offense punishable by a fine not to exceed $500. Now, even though the thought of a late library book arrest sounds like the plot of that old third season episode of Seinfeld, similar incidents like this one out in Texas have occurred over the years. Another mom in Michigan, for instance, faced more than 3 months in jail and got denied a promotion at work over 5 book fines back in 2019. But while Kaylee's case surely isn't the worst incident to ever involve a Texas book depository, it is worth pointing out that late fees for books are kind of passé these days. From small towns like Denton, Texas, to big cities like New York, libraries have been eliminating late fees all over the country, with the president of the New York Public Library saying back in 2021, when their new no late fee policy took place, research shows that fines are not effective in ensuring book returns. But fines are quite effective at preventing our most vulnerable communities from using our branches, services, and books. When Denton, Texas eliminated theirs in 2019, an official told the Dallas Morning News that late fines are an unnecessarily punitive measure, and they can even discourage people from ever revisiting the library, with people feeling ashamed or embarrassed if they can't afford to pay their debts. Kaylee notes her single-family income couldn't afford the $569.40 fine for the 2 late books on Vincent van Gogh, but her GoFundMe raised enough money to cover the costs. Oh, and she also thinks that $500 ordinance is excessive.
There's so many other things that we could do as a consequence, because I do agree, like, having a time frame for library books is important so everybody can participate. But maybe community service, like you returned a book late, so now you come do story time with the kiddos.
She's since raised the $570 she needed to pay off all of her fines. And if you feel so inclined to help, she's set up a new GoFundMe goal of $3 grand to help pay for a lawyer to help fight the case, claiming that any money that's left over from all that will be donated to a different public library. Or you could always spend $500 on this excellent to like new collection of vintage motorcycle and dirt bike quarterly magazines on eBay. It's not exactly the dirt bike our friend in Iowa was trying to raise money for, but to quote Walt Disney, there's more treasure in books than all the pirates loot on Treasure Island. And now for someone under horse arrest.
Stop! You're being detained!
This is police body cam footage out of Albuquerque, New Mexico from the end of March, where 3 officers on horseback happened to be near a Walgreens that reported a robbery.
Albuquerque police! You are being detained!
This officer's camera captures the moment he follows a guy who allegedly stole a bunch of stuff from the store. The guy slowly makes a getaway as the officer gallops towards the sidewalk, as the guy slowly gallivants into the road with the horse in tow. Traffic slows as all 3 horseback cops surround the guy.
You are being detained for suspected shoplifting!
Until he's eventually put in cuffs. The suspect was arrested and charged with shoplifting, eluding/evading police on foot, and possession of drug paraphernalia. And if you think you've got to be a bit of a horse's ass to slowly walk away from 3 cops like that, yeah, he's in pretty deep manure right now.